People in Solano County returning to their homes as a wildfire rages. The Quail Fire has burned more than 1,800 acres. It has destroyed multiple homes. Evacuations have been lifted, but people in the area are not completely out of it just yet. Our Carlos Herrera is live in Solano County, where strong winds are expected to make things difficult for firefighters. Carlos, how is the wind out there right now? Because that's the big story here.
Yeah, exactly. And let's give you a check on that and give you a closer look at it. They come in intervals, as I told you in the last half hour. Definitely have picked up a little bit since the last half hour, since we last checked in. That's the big danger that fire crews are seeing here and they're dealing with this morning. Here's the closer look at the closures in place. This is Pleasance Valley Road. A lot of homes up that road. CHP blocking this area right here with cones and barricades. You have to show an ID and prove that you live in that area in order to get past that hard closure. Now take a look at some video that we shot over the weekend. Winds were obviously strong. There still are this morning, which has caused the fire to grow overnight. They're even expecting it to grow even more today. There's a bit of good news, though, because at last check, containment also increased. It's up to 40% now. That's because crews fought the blaze both on the ground and in the air. Officials say the fire was obviously fueled by strong winds, record temperatures, and dry brush in the area. CAL FIRE says 3 homes were destroyed. 100 structures are still threatened this morning. But as Walt mentioned, mandatory and advisory evacuations have been lifted just southwest of Winters. And many of the homes directly in the fire's path were saved thanks to the hard work over the weekend.
I'm feeling thankful, sad for some neighbors that I know their houses burned to the ground. So there's some that have lost their homes that I know.
PG&E has also restored power to most homes. All power is expected to come back on later today. We do know CAL FIRE is expected to give us an update on the numbers here of the fire coming up in about 15 minutes. We'll have you also give you those details at 11 a.m. on Morning Blend Extra Shot. Now, Walt, I want to leave you with this shot of the wind here, of the trees and the dry brush in this area. Very tall as well. The wind continues to blow here, but it's a significant story because you brought this point up earlier today about fire season coming up earlier and earlier every year. Just last year here, PG&E had to shut power off for 3 days because of the fire weather and the wind picking up. Obviously the same story here today.
Yeah, right now, and you're in a little bit of a valley area, Carlos. The winds right now are about 8 miles per hour sustained at your location, but later today gusts up to 30 miles per hour. So it's a slight calm before the windstorm later. Carlos, thank you. The Solano County Office of Emergency Services says it's been hearing from people concerned about a possible PG&E power shutoff during these fire conditions. Officials say PG&E has no shutoffs planned for Solano County. We also checked and found PG&E has no shutoffs planned for any part of our region as we speak. Now, there is a new fire started in Mariposa County along Hunters Valley Road, forcing evacuations there. This is a time lapse of the smoke last night. This is near Lake McClure. CAL FIRE says about 50 acres burned. We're expecting another update this morning. All right, Brittany, we kind of set the table here.
For the wind.
Great temperatures today for doing things, but the wind is going to mess it up for allergy sufferers and firefighters.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. So we were just looking at Carlos at 8 miles per hour in the Fairfield area. Some places right now, Stockton, we're looking at 16 miles per hour. Modesto, we're looking at 11 miles per hour. This is why we have that red flag warning. As we fast forward the clock, you can see by tonight at 6, as Walt was just saying, in places like Fairfield, we're looking at 20 with wind gusts up to 30, and we're dealing with dry winds, and that's why we're watching that about till 8 o'clock tonight. So as we take a look, it's the red flag warning. Again, you're going to see gusts of 30 miles per hour. It's that dry wind. So places like Sacramento, Fairfield, Stockton, and Modesto, these are the areas of concern. So it may not be windy right now, but it could be later. So when we have a red flag warning, what does that mean for you? Well, it means that we are watching your conditions, but it also means if you're going to be driving, secure safety chains on trailers. Don't drive over dry grass, and make sure to avoid yard work near dry grass as well. So it's something we'll continue to watch. So here's a crazy thing. In the mountains last night, we were dealing with snow in June, right? That's because we had that low pressure system. We now have that high pressure system, the dry, dangerous winds, and that's why we're watching your conditions until 8 o'clock tonight. As we take a look right now, we're about in the 50s as everyone across the board walks out the door. Sonora, we're at 79. Placerville will be at 75. Pollock Pines will be at 66. Tahoe, if you're headed that way, you do not need change. Driving conditions completely different. Looking good so far. You can see we're looking at Thursday at 75. Around the region, I am going to be watching San Francisco, and I know Monica will update you as well. We're looking at temperatures. You can see 71, but wind gusts a little bit later on tonight around 6. We could see 20 miles per hour. Oakland, we're looking at 76. Fairfield, we are looking at 86. Modesto, 83. Manteca, 83. Tracy, we're looking at 84. So we're down just a little bit compared to yesterday. Sacramento, we're looking at 84 as well. You can see Monday, again, we're looking at 83. We're going to pop up just a little bit on Tuesday at 92. And as we roll into next week, we're looking at 80s, even 90s. But thankfully, we're not seeing triple digits.